But the question is, when I said, God gets us alone through our screw-ups. Now, one question you just had is, does that mean you have to screw up? Isn't that what you just asked me? In order to sort of find God in spiritual reality? And does it mean that God, in a sense, causes it? That's another question. All right. I was sort of hoping that most people would hear me saying that though we screw our lives up, God, in His infinite wisdom and mercy, comes in and uses our screw-ups for spiritual progress. That we all will do it. We all will make mistakes. We all will do things that kind of foul things up, and God will use it. That's what I was trying to say. You said there's different kinds of screw-ups. There's some places where you sort of fail and it's really not your fault, and that makes you question. And there's other times where you've out and out done something very irresponsible and wrong, and that makes you question. That's true. And I guess I was trying to say, no matter whether it's all your fault or partly your fault or not your fault at all, almost any kind of mess gets you to begin thinking about the bigger pictures. The bigger picture, ask questions like, well, what am I living for? What's really important? What is my life about? What do I really want to accomplish? Is there really a God? And those questions usually don't happen unless you don't really take time to reflect. That's what I meant by being alone. You don't take time to reflect. And I would say that, no, God does not make you do evil things, but He uses. I guess I'd even go this far. See, I don't want to say He's too passive. For example, Judas betrayed Jesus, and the Bible says that was God's plan. You know? But it doesn't say God made Judas be a betrayer. What it means is God arranged everything. God arranged when Judas was born, who he knew, everything, so that his free-willing choice would actually only further the purposes of God's redemption. And that's actually the best model I can give. I could say that even though God does not make you foul up or screw up, God arranges everything about your life, so that your screw-ups and foul-ups get you to the place where you think about things and you might make real progress. Now, I don't believe that, no, I don't mean to be saying that God necessarily sends evil into your life, does evil things to you, or makes you sin. Now, how close am I to answering your question? Oh, yes, right. He knows. No, He doesn't make you screw up. But His design is not for you. God never wants you to sin. It's never God's will for you to sin. But you see, what I've tried to do is, the reason I spoke ambiguously, and I said, God, the reason I spoke that ambiguously is God is extremely involved, though. I mean, in other words, God does not see you screw up and then say, oh, let's see now. What can I do to bring good out of this? I mean, that's way too passive and detached an understanding of God. That's not the biblical view. Biblical view of God is that He really, everything about you, your birth, your parents, everything about you is woven in along with your free choices. So your free choices, in every regard, further the purposes of God, and His purposes for you are good. He doesn't want you to screw up. He doesn't want you to sin. And yet He's extremely involved in arranging your life so that your foul-ups actually give you an opportunity to find Him.